So we're closing in on Homefront now. It's only a few weeks out. I've seen the ads out here in San Francisco on the streets. What's your gut feeling right now about the game?
I think everything is looking fantastic. Everyone's psyched to see the out-of-door marketing happening now and seeing the billboards up and Times Square back home where Chaos Studios is. So we're getting close to ship. Finally, it's been a long haul, a real long process. It's hard to get a new IP out there, but the buzz is great. Everything looks awesome, and we can't wait to get it out in the hands of all the fans.
Speaking of that, getting a new IP out there, it's starting to get like March is a pretty tough month though to break through, because there's quite a lot of big titles coming out in March, especially in the shooter genre. We got Killzone is just out, and we got Crysis 2 coming. We got Crysis 2 over there. What do you think sets Homefront apart from the pack?
I mean, yeah, March is definitely a real competitive month, but we really think we can own this period. Everything is looking great on the Homefront side, and what we can do different is definitely our story, our fiction, working with John Milius, crossing all those T's, dotting all the I's, really doing all that research and history, and to get our fiction to the level that we want it. So on the single player side, the detail of the universe and environment is hugely important. On the multiplayer side, we're bringing infantry shooter style intensity to the large scale warfare theater for the first time. I think that's going to set waves in the FPS space. It's really something that's never been done. Typically in large scale, it's a slower type of combat, but we really have that fast-paced action. A lot of new mechanics like Battle Commander and Battle Points that everyone's going to really love.
So for a European, it may be a little bit hard to understand how it hits like the American hearts with the war actually being in America, mainland America. Could you describe something about that feeling and what feeling it evokes in Americans?
Certainly. I mean, the high premise of Homefront is we wanted to tell the story of an occupied America. Typically, it's Americans going to save the day. In those worlds, we're seen as the occupiers, right? So we wanted to twist it, and to do that, we're taking America and flipping it upside down, showing this, this battered and beaten America, and we didn't pick just landmark locations, right? We start in Montrose, Colorado. It's blue collar, it's suburbia. So it's not just recognizable to U.S. citizens. It's pretty much globally recognizable. We tried to put as much detail into the environment as possible, so everyone could get kind of that feel of, wow, this is a really interesting situation. I've never seen this before. I've never played it before, and it's really interesting. It's really fun in the end.
Something that Chaos has an heritage of is multiplayer, online multiplayer, obviously. And the online multiplayer shooter scene today is just vastly different than, say, 5 years ago or 3 years ago. And there is so much detail given to perks and leveling up and all these kind of things to keep people involved in the game and keep them playing, because everybody wants people to keep playing the multiplayer because they don't give away the disc or sell it or, whatever. So what kind of things are you adding to your game in order to keep with this, and how is it different from, say, a Call of Duty?
Well, there's two things that we're doing. The first is we're building on proven mechanics. We want the control mapping. We want the experience to be familiar to people. We also want to bring things new to the table. So you will see an ability system in our game. You'll see a long-term XP progression, unlocks, challenges, all that stuff you expect to see in a competitive AAA title, right? We also bring what I touched on before, which is Battle Commander and Battle Points. Battle Points, we address a lot of legacy issues in the large-scale warfare space. Basically, in MP, anything you do to help your team win earns you battle points. You can spend those on the fly for rocket launchers, airstrikes, drones. You don't have to die to deal with the problem. Also, at the same time, you save up those points and purchase vehicles with them. So no longer are people camping vehicle spawns in the map. No longer do you have to get into a vehicle and drive all the way across the map. You spawn directly in the vehicle, it points you up at the action, and it keeps that intensity level at number 11 the entire time.
So it's a bit of a tactical choice there, whether to save up the points to get a big vehicle or spend it immediately on something.
Yeah, it's a natural, what we call like a save or spend philosophy, right? Do I buy this smaller, lightweight Humvee right now since it's a bit cheaper? Or maybe do I want to save up a bit longer and get that heavy tank so I can help dominate an objective a little bit later in the game? And what that actually lends itself well to is a gradual escalation in intensity, right? And no one has many battle points at the beginning of a match, so it's smaller, drones, airstrikes, things like that. As the match progresses and people earn those battle points, all of a sudden you start to see larger vehicles, you start to see air-to-air combat, air-to-ground combat, airstrikes, infantry, drones, all going on at the same time on dedicated servers. So we have 32 people on Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and PC. 32 people in a large-scale environment. I mean, what else is better?
There's a nice escalation to the war then, and so the final minutes are really intense.
Yeah, and that's the only way we can accomplish that. You know, we have this escalation in intensity, we have a lot going on, vehicles all over the map, things exploding everywhere. Dedicated servers allow us to really provide that in a lag-free experience with no host advantage, and you know that intensity level is just dialed up to a level we really haven't seen in the past.
So right now we're at the point where you're probably finished with the game right now. What are your plans for post-launch support?
So right now the team is just hammering away at the final processes of the game, and also we're building out DLC. So we've already committed to DLC support. Homefront is a AAA title on the single-player side and multiplayer side, and on post-launch support. So everything you expect to see out of a AAA title, you'll definitely see in Homefront.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.